I'll just hit the highlights for the nutrition. All right.
Yeah.
The Shelter Island Nutrition Program is dedicated to providing nutritious meals and meaningful socialization throughout the week to the senior population on Shelter Island.
Hold on, before we get into that, I've got one thing I want to talk about relating to the budget.
Okay.
Okay, once again, it's about the reserve fund. Because I started my deep dive on the status of the town's reserve funds a few weeks ago. You know, at first, I might have gotten a few assumptions wrong, not perfect, but in the last 2 weeks, I've been able to properly synthesize the numbers put before us. I got pretty bogged down in this and reached out to the former CFO of my old company for help. I'm not sure that our friendship is going to survive this exercise, but it's important to understand that in my 5-year look back on the town's net operations, they have run at a surplus for 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2020, and 2024. However, for 2025, we're going to post a $670,000 loss, and we are projecting a $740,000 loss for 2026. The current plan that we're talking about is to fund this $1.4 million of losses by dipping into the unassigned general A reserve fund.
So, Ben,
Yeah.
can we get into this later when we're talking about the reserve fund? I don't want to take time out of Kelly's day because this doesn't have anything to do with her budget.
This will take 1 more minute.
Okay.
Not even. So we're dipping into the reserve fund for $1.4 million to cover 2025 and 2026. And this is our rainy day money. This is an emergency fund that has declined from a high of $3 million in 2022 to 1.85 for 2025, and is projected to decline even further to 1.3 million for 2026. So if you do the math, if the town's operations continue to lose $700,000 each year, our reserve cash will run out in 2.5 years. By the end of 2028, we will have no more cash. The town's got to balance its budget, or we're going to be facing a shocking double-digit tax increase as soon as 2027. And we just went through a reassessment which hit those who can least afford it really hard. The numbers don't lie. I've provided the town board. Amber has copies of my spreadsheet and a copy of what I'm talking about right now for each of you. Check it for yourselves. I would like the spreadsheet to be added to the discussion documents on the town's website so the public can check it themselves as well, and everyone can draw their own conclusions. That is just what I had to say. Amber, you can hand out those 3 pages. Thank you.
Ben.
Thank you.
All right. To Kelly and the nutrition program. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. So we have Dinner Bell. It's a congregate luncheon. It meets twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. We also have a grab and go option where people can come in, reserve a meal, pick it up. Home delivered, which is typically 12 Meals on Wheels. We deliver a total of 5 meals throughout the week to homebound seniors recovering from illness or injury. In the past year, we've increased our home delivered meals from 2 to 5 meals, which was great. And, you know, they're trying to do theme days over nutrition. Some of the goals are to grow the home delivered meal client list. We feel like we still are missing people. As soon as we gain some, we kind of lose some as well. And we just want to make it more social over there, fun activities. They've been bringing like little games into play, almost like when you're at Crackle Barrel, you know, those little games. And then maybe bring some other entertainment over there.
Thanks.
Do you want me to go through the budget or go through all the,
We'll go.
all through the narrative?
Well, we'll go to the nutrition budget next because
Okay.
we just spoke about it. And essentially, if people have questions about your budget or how it's being used, they will ask them.
Okay.
What page are we going to?
20.
The only thing I see is, it looks like they took off the van and maintenance fuel.
I think that that went into the grant. Now, you guys have the grant for drivers. And I
Okay,
think that either that went into the grant or it went into highways maintenance for vehicles.
oh,
One or the
okay,
other.
probably
I'm
that,
not-
because I don't think we
yeah.
have that for nutrition. That car isn't underneath ours.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So yeah, then it probably went to highway, but we'll double check that with Amber,
Okay.
and just figure out exactly why. I do notice that there's some salary changes, but we'll go over those later when Amber's here. Otherwise, I had maintenance highlighted as something that we may need more for. Amber had proposed 6,000, you had put 7,000 in your budget. I wanted to keep it at 7 because it seemed like historically we've spent either around 7 or more than 7 on maintenance. But I also wasn't sure if that was because now that we've spent the money, we've caught up and there really isn't going to be much that
Right.
could go wrong, you know?
Yeah,
So that's another one I'll check with Amber to see why she
Okay.
made that change. Church rent, we know is fixed. So that's based on the new contract with the church. Office and miscellaneous,
Last year's budget, okay, we, was 7,000, I guess it looks like, year
are
to
you
date.
talking about the maintenance?
Yes, and what is that exactly?
Shelby, can you help me with that?
Yeah. I know in the past, so one of the things that we did was we pulled some money from there to put into a separate code that we put under the public works line to keep track of all of the water testing that was happening, because previously we were keeping track of those in each of the different departments that it was taking place in. But then we wanted to have all of the municipal building water testing coming out of one line.
Mhm.
So that is why the modified budget, if you look, is down a little bit.
Mhm.
So it was adopted at 7 and then we pulled some money out. But otherwise, what usually comes out of there is just like your garbage pickup. It looks like when you've had some fridge repair work that needed to be done.
Okay, yeah, and that could happen. We have more fridges.
Your annual kitchen hood exhaust cleaning comes out of there.
So like the kitchen
So it's
equipment,
pretty
maintenance, things
expensive,
like
yeah.
that, those things do get expensive if they go down.
How much is the water testing, that whole piece thing, what was that last year?
In the whole piece,
Yeah,
I mean, I can tell you how much we pulled. So we pulled out 2,630, and that was based on whatever the testing was.
and that will be in a separate
24.
line item now.
That's in a separate line under Public
Okay.
Works now.
So is it possible that this number may be high if we're pulling that out? And I'm looking at, we have 37, we have basically 4,000. So if you pull that out, it may be that this line item may be a little on the high side.
Yeah, it could go down.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
And we'll see what Amber's rationale was.
Okay.
I'll make a little note
Yeah.
on that one.
Your office and miscellaneous went up. Is that because you have additional programming planned?
I think the office and, well, I wrote it the same, but
Supplies, yes.
it was running pretty low. She orders all the supplies for, the home delivered grab and go. It
Right.
does add up, but, she's been trying to buy in bulk.
Mhm.
And Emily does believe that she's gonna get through the year, but it could be
It could
tight.
get-
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because I see in the past years, in '23, it was 28,000, in '24, it was 32,000, and this year we budgeted 9,800. We've spent 8,400 approximately, so I can see how this
Yeah.
could get tight if she has to order another round.
Right.
Before the end of the year.
So you have the breakdown on that 9,800 for this year?
Yeah, so far they've spent 8,400.
No, I see that. We were just rattling off some things that, in the,
Yeah, so I'm looking at the
Breakdown.
actual for 2023.
right,
The actual for 2024, and so 2023 was 28,000. The actual spent for '24 was 32,000. And then things were readjusted in '25, and the budget was 9,800. And so far of that budget, they've spent $8,414, which makes me think it's very possible that they could go over that.
so we went in 2024 from an actual budget of a spending of 32,000. This year, we have a
It's
9,800.
because we
I
had
think the
the
rent
rent
was in
in
there.
there.
I'm sorry?
the
It's
rent.
because that was the rent. So like if you look up at the rent line, there's nothing there. It's because we decided this year to make a separate line just to keep
Ah,
track of the
okay.
rent.
That makes sense.
The
Yeah,
rent was cheap.
we thought it should be
It was, yeah.
included in the.
So if we,
Since
so
doubled.
Yes, this year it renewed.
so if we add the two of them together, okay, you have 51,000 for this year versus 32,000 the prior year. Is that right?
The rent is doubled at the
Yeah.
Right.
church.
The rent is doubled on the.
On the church, yes. So that makes sense as to why it changed so dramatically. And then the van fuel and maintenance, I believe that went to highway? Shelby, do you know?
Possibly, yeah, we'll have to ask Amber. I'm not sure, but yes, possibly.
I have notes for those.
Okay.
So we'll get clarity from her. Everyone good there? Can we move to the next program?
Which one do you want to go to?
Nutrition residential repair, so Silver Circle is next on the list of our budget.
Page,
Silver,
this one, got it.
yeah, 21. And the Silver Circle narrative is on page 61.
Silver Circle, it's on.
We're at 21, page 21 right now?
Correct.
Okay.
The narrative is on page 61.
You want to go over the narrative or?
Yeah, you can go with
Okay.
the narrative.
So Silver Circle, it's on Wednesdays from 10 to 2. It's at the senior center. It's designed for frail seniors for extra support, as well as older adults to remain active, engaged, and connected. The program offers a safe, welcoming, and home-like experience for the seniors and meaningful activities, companionship, and wellness opportunities. So each day, they start off with some coffee, tea, some social time. Then we, sometimes we have word searches or coloring or things like that, crosswords. Then we start with yoga, which is really nice. Everyone seems to really enjoy that program. Then we have a nice nutritious lunch. And then the rest of the afternoon is filled with different activities, bingo, volleyball, we have a playhouse group, we do intergenerational programming, arts and crafts, tai chi, drumming, aromatherapy, we have a bunch of things going on there.
Okay. So the first line item is meals and snacks. Is the nutrition program providing the meals and snacks for that?
Not
meals?
snacks, they provide the meals.
Okay,
They provide the meals, which is great. They'll come down with everything. It's all fresh cooked,
Mhm.
pretty much what we have on Wednesdays. The only thing is sometimes we do use, like we'll go to Stars or Slice and get something else. And it does help with the nutrition program when it's busy. Like if the holidays come and they have to get 3 meals out that
Mhm.
day, it kind of like complements each other. So I do understand that it went down the budget, but it may be, I may just have to work with it a little bit. It's
Okay.
just, it is really helpful for both programs to have a little bit of change, but
Yeah.
it's still a generous thing.
Yeah,
So what we're saying is, okay, the tentative budget is for 1,500,
right.
but yet it looks like you're going to spend that 4,800 this year, right?
Well, so far they've spent
I'm
1,700.
sorry, yeah, 1,700, okay.
So, there's 3,000 left in the budget for this year. The holidays coming up, you're probably going to spend some of that, I
Yeah.
would think, because you have Thanksgiving,
Right.
Christmas.
And we have New Year's.
New
too.
Year's, and so the nutrition program gets busy during those holidays.
Kelly, let me just ask a question. It's funny, when I look at some of the vouchers, okay, you have a credit card, right? And all those purchases, or any of those things being able, I see there's always a lot of, it's not just yourself, but we have a lot of credit cards in the town, okay? I was just wondering, is there any, to avoid that, none of the vendors take deliveries, or nobody takes house accounts on some of the purchases that you do?
The purchases that I do or the purchases,
Well, where it's coming out of the credit card side.
so like that's when I go to Dollar Tree and try to get
Okay.
it as cheap as possible.
Okay.
I guess Slice would probably do that.
Okay, I just,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
IGA,
I mean, I have no
we used to
idea.
have a house account with IGA when I first started, but that's stopped.
It's not necessarily directed at you.
Oh, okay,
It's just
yeah, I
that-
don't-
It's just that the town has, I mean, we have a whole bunch of credit cards. People are charging things on credit cards, and when I look at some of them, I wonder how many of these things if we're doing business with somebody, how do you eliminate all
We had
of these
house
credit
accounts
cards?
before and it became
sorry?
a mess. We had house accounts before in the past and it became a complete mess.
Good IGA.
Yeah, the IGA, the tracking, some were overcharged, some you didn't know who would sign for it. It was chaotic.
Probably easier to keep track of the credit card because you know that credit card belongs to that department or that
The
program.
department had that program.
The hardware store we have a house account there.
I noticed that everybody seems they deal with supplies like miscellaneous office supplies. Okay, so everybody seems to do their own thing with their office supplies. I was just,
I think Staples,
Yeah,
we have an
Staples.
account with
Well,
Staples.
Amazon.
or Amazon.
okay.
Those the town
We
has-
do get a rebate for using the credit card, just saying.
Yeah.
So we do get money from the credit card company for using the credit card.
Right. Okay. Office and miscellaneous, kept that line flat. And then program provider. So that, you put in a tentative 1,300, Amber dropped that down to 750. Now, is that to hire people to come in and do programs?
Yes, so that's like the drumming, the Tai Chi, the aromatherapy.
Mhm.
Senior center would be a little different.
Right.
We're trying to work on something with that.
Okay. Yeah, I think the reason she did that is because in the past you haven't really spent, I think it was a new line item in '24. And you spent about 200 out of the 300 that was budgeted. And this year so far, you've spent 380. So I think she's thinking, if you stay on the same track for the second half of the year, it'll be about the same.
I think, I don't know if you could see it, Shelby, was there more? I think I spent a little bit more. Is this
This
for,
year?
yeah, is this for through July or through June, I mean?
It's through August.
Oh, it is through August?
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought I had more than that. Okay.
Yeah.
I had drumming, I thought twice, which would be 400. Aromatherapy is coming today, tomorrow.
Right,
Okay.
so, okay. That one's another one we can ask.
Should I go to senior center or?
Yeah, I was gonna see, do you have any questions about the Silver Circle?
No.
All right, we go on to the senior center.
Okay, the senior center is a welcoming place where seniors can stay active, supported, connected. Our mission is to provide opportunities that promote independence, wellness, and community engagement for seniors of all backgrounds. Provide a bunch of programs, do recreational activities, educational programs, volunteer opportunities, intergenerational programs. Just try to keep everyone active with a high quality of life. Some of the main programs we have is the transportation program. It's reliable transportation for medical appointments, grocery shopping, banking, pharmacy, post office, senior center activities. They provide rides to Dinner Bell. So that's really busy with transportation all the time. The shopping assistance program is doing actually very well. It's when it supports homebound seniors in accessing food and other necessities. Seniors place orders and drivers go pick them up from pretty much BJ's, Walmart. And the drivers bring in the food for everyone or their packaging. So it makes it really nice for homebound seniors to have this. And we've increased our, we used to only have a couple of clients, like 3 clients, now we're almost at 9. So it is coming, it's getting there. Telephone reassurance program is a program of friendly check-in calls for seniors who might be isolated, homebound, or just need some regular contact. We only have a few of those, but it's great having our volunteers calling them and asking, checking in on everyone and making sure they're all right. Especially the people that live alone, sometimes they just want to make sure that someone's watching out for them. And we have the lending closet, which is always hopping. We have, we get donated medical equipment, wheelchairs, walkers, canes, and other adaptive devices. So people are either donating or need. So that's really working out. We've had some really nice collaborations with recreation and the police department this year. We've had our luncheons that go really well. They're well attended. With the police department, we did the opioid awareness, and we're going to be doing senior scams again with them. We're co-hosting a fall festival with the recreation department, which we're really excited about. We've partnered with CAST to raise awareness about food insecurity and all the available resources for them. We've hosted a vaccine clinic last year and we're with Rite Aid, and we're hosting one this year on October 9th with Walgreens, which went really well. We've organized community trips for shopping, dining, movies, theater performances, bingo. Some goals for next year, we're trying to launch a new art program. I'm going to see how that works out. I might have to open a revenue line for that.
Okay.
We're going to try to expand our community trips. We are going to strengthen our partnership with Stony Brook and other local hospitals to, do workshops on fall prevention, diabetes, and heart health. We're going to try to introduce a defensive driving course. And we want to establish a caregiver support group, which would help you know, those caring for loved ones. I think there's a big need for that.
That's good.
Kelly, the AAA drivers. A jump? Is there a reason for that or what, why the jump?
Well, I put it down to 18,000, the same as last year. They do drive a lot to medical appointments. We have, I was just I don't know about the whole medical appointment thing, but it's about, I think, 2,400, like, one-way trips a year. That's what we're estimating.
Okay, it just seems like there's more driving now, yet you're
Well,
projected, that's
we are,
all. Is there some
we do
reason?
have we do have we have a grant for driving. It's the 5310 Enhanced Driving Grant.
Right.
So that's probably why she probably upped it up a little bit.
It also covers more.
You have a grant, is that reflected in this somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's probably a revenue sheet you have.
Yeah.
Rent,
Where is it? It's 5310 Enhanced Mobility for Seniors.
what page are you on?
It's,
53?
Go to
I don't
page
have,
32.
I don't have my numbers on my.
Yeah, no, it's 30, yeah.
What page?
32.
32 is where the senior center revenue is.
Right, and it's. There's two grants.
I believe
The
the triple, yeah.
5310 mobility grant is $45,420. And then the county reimbursement for AAA is $10,020.
So what does that go toward? The driving?
Driving.
Okay, but you still had the need to almost double the drivers. I'm just curious if you're projecting something that has increased, will increase.
I think we'll have to ask Amber why she brought it up that high, because I think there are other things that the grant covers in the driving, like related to the driving. So we'll have to ask Amber why she did that. Because in 2023, they did spend 18,000 on AAA drivers. In '24, it was 11,000. So far, they've already spent 8,300. So,
I believe we
I'll fit-
appointed more drivers this year.
yeah, we did, I thought we appointed more drivers.
We do. We have volunteers as well. So they're covering as well. I mean, I know they're not reflected in the budget numbers, but we do have other people driving.
Still more trips.
Yeah, this.
It might also have something to do with, I wasn't here when the 5310 audit lady was here, but from what I understand, Amber explained is that with that grant that we get from the state, there's a portion of it that we have to have a match for, like the town has to match funds. But she was explaining that we can use AAA money as the match. So maybe that's why she increased this a bit, because she's thinking if we can get more from the county and use that as the match for the state grant
And I think we were trying to talk about maybe hiring someone,
as like a
like a full-time person, and then the new grant, the 5310 may cover that, but that's something that has to be discussed and figured out.
Okay,
Right,
yeah.
question mark.
yeah, so that's a question for Amber. And then driver for the new bus.
Requires a 20% local share match.
Right.
What does the part-time assistant do?
She is in the office, and she's also with the seniors, like doing programming. It's Donna Cass. She'll be in the program taking data for this grant. This 5310 grant is a lot of data with it. So actually her and Marissa do that. They schedule people for the medical rides as well. That I like safety, so she's in the programming, watching, making sure everyone's safe and enjoying and leading sometimes.
So she's in the office, strictly in the
Well,
office.
not strictly, she's both.
In the office and in the programming, like when.
And she
programs
goes
are
on
running.
community trips too.
So this changed job descriptions from 24 to 25? Meaning I see it was like 13,000 that was for actually spent in 24. Now the budget you're looking for is 22,000. So I'm
Well,
guessing,
you had someone leave, right?
Oh.
Didn't Karen left?
Karen left, I think that was her line.
Yeah, that was
And we
her
had Donna pick up and add with the, since she's already a rec person,
Right.
she's a rec aide, we had her take on that line.
So she's taking on more hours.
She is, and it doesn't really reflect that well. I think that's why maybe Amber took it down, is because she's also a driver.
Right.
So every time she drives, we take the hours out of the rec assistant.
Right, so it comes out of the driving
Because
budget.
we're getting reimbursed for that.
Mhm.
So I'd
Makes
hate to
sense.
lose her hours, because the more trips we go on, I
You
need an
need-
extra eyes, or I have another rec aide that I could probably pull from that too.
Right. It's important to have more than one person on a trip. You have to have eyes
Absolutely.
and help, because if something happens, you need someone to be able to stay with everybody.
Absolutely.
You always need at least one, preferably two more people.
okay, just so I'm reading this correctly. So in 2024, the total of that whole category was 178,000. And the budget for this year was 210. And now we're going up to 216. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that is added in from the grant. So that's grant money that we then get.
What you're saying is the grant money is offsetting it. That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But Amber can clarify that.
Okay.
We'll have
Do
it.
we know how much the grant money is off the top of our heads
Yeah,
here?
45,000.
Mhm.
It was on page 32.
32.
Sorry. Yeah, there's two grants on their line. One is for the AAA, and that was 10,040, I believe.
10,000.
Yeah, 10,020 is the AAA grant, and then the 5310 mobility grant is $45,420. So those are on the revenue side of things.
And have those grants increased
Yes.
year over year?
No, they increased significantly this year.
Mhm.
So the mobility grant was 18,000 last year, or I'm sorry, no, I'm wrong.
Was
Oh, yeah, no,
nothing.
18,000 last year,
18.
and now it's 45,420. So it's gone up. So that's what's offsetting the increase in the line.
So on page 32, that's the portion that's really offset. Those are the grants and funding for this program.
Mhm.
So
So it's 56,440 is offsetting. So maintenance, your maintenance line for the senior center had some extra expenses.
It had the water testing.
This was the accident.
Oh, the accident,
Is
yes.
this for the bus?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So
It went in and out, right?
Right, we get insurance.
we
for
had,
that.
we paid to get the bus fixed, the insurance reimbursed us, so,
Okay,
but that's why the modified budget looks
so
so
high.
high, yes.
That makes sense.
Otherwise, we looked it up. This is usually just like pest control, Suffolk security, like those things come out of there.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Meals and snacks. And that's separate from nutrition program.
Yeah.
Meals and snacks. AAA car maintenance. AAA expenses and car maintenance, that goes with the grant, right? Is that covered by the grant or is that something separate?
I think they could put in for
You guys
for
have
it.
Okay.
You have a single car?
No, we have 3 cars and two buses. One's a 22 passenger, one's a 6.
3 cars.
3 cars. So we have 5 total vehicles.
Mhm.
So, and this is the maintenance on all of them?
I think so.
Yeah,
And the
Ferriage
fuel
and-
too.
yeah, ferriage, fuel. You have to get it inspected, like those things.
Yeah. Inspection, registration, all that good stuff.
Getting a little older too, so we
Yeah.
might need a little bit more this year.
I think, didn't you talk about a new vehicle, as I recall, someplace along the line?
I did,
Yes.
yeah. I asked,
So what's the year of your vehicle, with the one that you were replacing, or you?
it's the PT Cruiser, I think it's
Been around
2008.
Yeah.
Okay.
My ET,
That's been
yeah.
around forever.
Yeah, but, it's easy for everyone to get in and out of it, so,
It's the right height. You need to
It
do
is.
something about that same height.
Right.
It's easy to transfer
This-
people.
I think we were looking at the CRV and then we tried, whatever the police have.
Yeah, the Chevy Bolt.
The Bolt, yeah,
Yeah.
that worked out well too. We
Yeah,
took that
that's
for a
a
ride.
similar height,
Yeah.
yeah, and it has a lot of space in it.
Yeah, I was surprised the
Yeah.
legroom was really good when we
Yeah.
put the seniors back there.
All
All right, Kelly, 2008. Cruiser.
It was that audit, that New York
Yes.
State audit.
Yeah, so that is getting old. That's getting towards the end of its life, right? Miscellaneous.
I borrowed my
Stable.
mother-in-law's car, it's the same, pretty much the same year.
2013 Subaru and a 2015 Toyota. So, yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
get in.
Yeah, okay. So that might come down the line.
The total expense on the senior center went from last year, 24, the actual amount was 205, and we're projecting this year 240. Am I looking at that correct? Was there any increase in funding for that? It's a $30,000 increase, that's up to
Right, so that,
35,000.
right, but that total line is offset by the grants, the $56,000 in grants. That's why it went up, because the grants increased.
We also have someone that's getting longevity next year.
Right, and they didn't get that
I
prior.
didn't get that this year.
Should we move on to the shopping assistance program?
That was part of the senior center, I put it with it. This is a grant as well.
Yeah, so this grant is 40,000 for the shopping assistant program. So the grant's 40,000, the budget's 40,000, so it's a wash.
That's a matching grant as well?
Yes. Yeah,
And what's the match on it? 20% or? No, okay.
Oh, no, I think it's full.
it's a full
Yeah.
grant.
Fully get everything we submit
Full,
for,
okay.
yeah.
So in 2024, we spent 11,000. And then our expense side went up to 40,000. I understand the grant, but was just looking at that big significant change there.
Where,
2024, so the actual amount spent was 11,000,
right,
okay? And this year's budget was 40,
right.
okay? And I guess I don't know, I'm looking at why the significant change here, and it was drivers.
Right.
So we increased the drivers from 2,000 to 19,000 this year. And it looks like on that driver one, it looks like we only spent 2,000 and this 17 on that line is a balance of 17,000 to go.
Yeah, so if you look at it, the grant is for 40,000. We get reimbursed for what we spend.
Right, I understand that.
So last year, the grant was also 40,000. We only spent 11,800 of it. So that's the same thing this year. So the grant that we get is 40,000. If we can spend 40,000 of the grant to serve the community, awesome. If not, it'll reimburse whatever we do get to spend. So that's the way this program runs.
No, I get it, I'm just looking at the numbers here that, it went from the driver one, okay, that you have here in 24 was $2,700, and then it went to 19,000.
Well, if you look at what we
Yeah.
adopted, though, we
Yeah.
adopted
Yeah,
19.
right,
Right, it's the same amount as the adopted budget for
I got
25.
it, I got it.
Yeah. And I think that the program was new last year, right?
Yeah,
So it's getting
growing.
things.
it's growing
Yeah,
slowly, but we're
right.
starting to see some more people, more participants, which is great.
Yeah, so this really isn't a burden to the public.
Is that all? I think that's all your programs, isn't it? I think that's it. Anything else?
You guys have any other questions for Kelly?
Whatever we have, we'll wait, we have some questions for Amber.
For Amber, yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Have a good day, everybody.
You too. Now we have Joe next, right?
Yes.
If you can come in a little early?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Page 9. Maybe not. Page 9. Amber, can you email Benjamin's name to Amber Brock? She's not here to get it. We're just waiting for Joe, anybody who's online.
I think I'm the only one online.
Someone might be watching on YouTube.
Who's in the audience? I can't really see.
Kathy and John Cronin.
Oh, okay. So when Joe shows up, what page are we starting on?
Page 9.
Page 9. Mhm.
Hello, Joe. Feel free to take a seat.
Oh, at the top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm lonely.
Hello, everybody.
Morning, Joe.
Hello. Hi. Amber and Ben on?
Ben's on Zoom. Amber is unwell today,
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
so it's just us.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Joe. Oh,
Hello, Benjamin.
sorry.
You have a nice 4-line budget.
Yes, the number of lines is short, yes.
Yeah.
How would you like today's meeting to go? Would you like me to open? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, Joe, where the needs assessment money from last year, I forgot where that is in the budget. That was it $30,000 that we had put aside?
I don't think that was in Joe's,
No, it wasn't in his, but basically
That was
he's
in
working on
capital.
that, okay?
right, but it was in capital planning.
Capital planning.
That's where that was. So Joe, you really have your office and miscellaneous and professional services.
Yes. Do you want me to walk through the concepts of what?
Yeah,
They're
what
pretty,
goes into
they're pretty
each,
brief.
please?
Okay.
Yeah.
So the two categories besides myself are office and miscellaneous. I use those for software subscriptions, things like AutoCAD or some PDF softwares. The total expense there is fairly small, but it's been a fairly large value add because I'm able to take on some other projects now that we would normally contract out for because I use the software. So for instance, we used to pay for drawings and permit packages for bulkhead projects, and I do most of that work now in-house. So we pay a little bit for the software, but it enables me to do more work here. The professional.
That's in the professional services line?
No, that's office and miscellaneous. That's software
Okay.
subscriptions for professional engineering software like drafting. Professional services are for undefined projects that come up over the course of the year. It's kind of a small standing budget that the engineering department has had to cover things like unexpected needs for surveys, or unexpected needs for engineering consultants that come up on a project by project basis. Best example that I can give for an unforeseen small project that came through the engineering department right around the time that I took this job, was over at Bootlegger's Alley, when there was the discrepancy about where the town landing boundaries ended, where the mean high water mark was. That became a hot topic in the community. And John Cronin, as former town engineer, contracted with a land surveyor, professional land surveyor, to study that particular parcel, identify the meets and bounds, and that money was a few $1,000s that came out of this budget. Typically, I don't expend the budget, but I try to point a number for the year, the upcoming year, as to what I think might come across the desk. This particular year, we've allocated some of this professional services budget to things like the land surveys for the police department or the justice court, and it's getting kind of lumped into the larger septic project. Those monies may be recuperated from the EPA funding if that's available, but that gives you a sense of scale as to what that budget line is for. I've actually reduced it by a small amount this year because I don't think there's a need for, the $12,000 that was previously put in.
So what was spent in 24 on?
The
Along with
40
Fresh Pond.
fresh.
It was Fresh Pond. So we used Joe's code on vouchers, but then we got reimbursed all the money. So we didn't make a separate Fresh Pond.
That was from grant, we got reimbursed.
Yeah, we got
funding.
reimbursed. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's, the 24 line was quite large, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 47,800.
Right.
And 23
I was
was,
gonna add, that's what we do sometimes. Sometimes we have to take expenses out of Joe's line, but knowing that we're getting
Right.
reimbursed for it. So,
That's true. In years past, this line has been quite large because it represents a capital planning project or a grant-funded project, which I don't really have anything to do with how the budgeting is structured. But I think the municipal wastewater study, for instance, those were grant reimbursed, but that line, the monies from that project landed in my budget category, but didn't really represent expenditures that I
out of your
had in
department.
my department. Yeah, exactly.
So some falls in capital planning and grants and some falls in your budget?
Sometimes, and I don't have any,
Was that?
I don't have anything to do with whether that line item lands in the budget or not. It just shows up sometimes, and I manage the project, but where the monies are accounted for, I don't make that decision. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so for example, with the Fresh Pond project, instead of creating a new line in the budget for Fresh Pond, they used Joe's professional services line, knowing that it was going to get grant reimbursed. So instead of,
But I guess how to distinguish between it goes in your line item or the capital planning and grants committee, if that's looking to obtain grants for specific projects.
right,
Is how's that determined or?
He's funding it out of, he's funding it here, and he's being reimbursed through the grants program, okay? You got to look at both sides to see really whether.
Oh, but which,
Yeah.
why is it put in Joe sometimes or other times in capital planning and grants?
well, I mean, there's actually very little in capital planning and grants. There's no fund for that. So because Joe is the one who spearheaded the project, it went under Joe's line. So for Fresh Pond, Joe was the engineer in charge. He was the one who was spearheading the project. So it went under his professional services line. For something like the EMS highway barn expansion, that came out of Ken's line because he was the one in charge of that project, even though it's a capital project.
Okay.
So
Right.
the way that we don't have the capital planning and grants set up to be the funding source for those things or to be the line item for those things. We haven't established that well enough yet. So that's something that I think we should do, but we're not there. So it's been going to whoever is spearheading the project. It goes into their budget. And then the grant reimburses it.
and even in more simpler terms, we don't have a checkbook that's for
Right,
our
right.
capital fund. So we
Right.
just have to put it in the general fund to cut the check.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that basic, yeah.
Are there any major projects this coming year that you're anticipate working on? I know we got the center here. Are there any other big items that you're looking at this time?
Yes, there's a number of large projects, but they're not represented in the budget because the funding is
Right.
proposed to come from elsewhere grants or, I actually don't know where the facilities master plan budget was, but that's a good example of why it's not represented here. I have here a list of projects that have been worked on and will continue to be worked on, so I can leave these with you. I try to update this
Thank you.
list annually, but the general sequence here is a description of, general duties of the town engineer, and then it'll elaborate on specific projects. And the general duties largely are vague and broad in their scope, but they give you an idea of things that may come in day to day and the overall purpose of me being here. And then the project list on the subsequent pages is something that's more dynamic. Those projects come in and either are completed and we get removed from the list, or they're ongoing work and they would stay on the list. But it summarizes the type, I would say both the breadth and the scope of the projects that, that fall on my desk.
Great.
So, hold on. At the risk of getting this wrong, Joe, does the town covers some of your transportation to and from the island? Is that in this budget or is that somewhere else?
The town doesn't reimburse me for any fares or ferriage. I pay for those myself. That was never part of my employment agreement, but the town does have a town vehicle that was set to go to auction on Municipid, and nobody bid on it, or they bid like $50 or something, and Brian Sherman elected to keep the car. And so that is the vehicle that I use to get back and forth from the ferry. But I pay for the maintenance out of that in office and miscellaneous budget, and it's really just the gasoline back and forth from the ferry. I use the vehicle actually to do site visits around the island, so it's come quite handy in that, and other employees have used it as a vehicle to get back and forth from the ferry, but there's no direct compensation to me for commuting or anything like that.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarification.
So I did have a note just from our last budget meeting when we got to the roads DB fund about the road raising project. And the note was just if you had an estimate for how much that would be when it's all said and done. I know we had 50,000 in our capital budget. We've spent some of that money, so we have like 27 remaining. So the question was, is that enough? And
So that analysis is done in terms of expenditures. We sent out that last invoice a few weeks ago, Shelby, to the surveyor's office, and the scope as we had agreed is completed. If we want to advance the project further, we could utilize some of those funds. But that would be an advancement of the project, and the town board has not discussed that yet. So I guess I would describe that effort came in under budget, and we have a surplus now of that $27,000.
And what we've done so far is just survey all the roads, figure out that if we wanted to, we could take those surveys and figure out what we needed to do to actually.
That's right. It's 2 locations. It's the Ram Island Causeway and West Neck Road. And the funds that were allocated were for understanding the flood risk and maintaining access. So those funds were used for a surveyor to identify the flood elevations of the roads, and then internally correlated those elevations with the FEMA established flood elevations. And so I've then demonstrated how high the road would have to be raised and at what cost for varying flood levels. So, to go up 1 foot to meet your 25-foot, 25-year flood elevation, I'm saying these numbers arbitrarily, but to give you a sense, 2 feet to go up 50 for the 50-year storm, 3 feet for the 100-year storm, and then the associated costs based on the contour of the road. Certain parts of the road have to come up 3 feet to reach that elevation. Certain parts of the road may already be at that elevation, but it's for those two locations. So that is where the project is now, but there's no funding or intention to move beyond that for like formal roadway designs or construction costs.
And that, my understanding is that is why the high water rescue vehicle came into play.
That's right.
Because it was significantly less expensive than actually raising the roads, which would have been a very, very expensive endeavor.
That's right. The study revealed that the roads would be under approximately 2 to 3 feet of water under those most severe events. When we priced out the cost to raise those roads for the length of road that needed to be raised, it was quite expensive. We had proposed that because these projects had been fairly well analyzed to date, that these would be well suited for seeking grant monies, but that the town was not going to take that endeavor on themselves because of the scale of the cost. And so as a short-term solution, short to midterm solution for emergency management purposes, rather than raise the road, the proposal was seek a vehicle that could transit the road with that amount of calculated water under those.
Is this report on SharePoint for review, for looking at?
No, it's not a formal written report. I performed the analysis and I performed a debrief, but there's been no such, engineering report issued to date.
But we did spend a certain portion of that 50,000 for oversight or
For surveys.
For
surveys.
Oh, basically just surveys.
That's it. Everything else was done.
Okay.
Everything
Okay.
else was done in-house.
Got it, okay,
Yep.
okay.
Joe, doesn't the highway department have a high water vehicle that can transverse the 2 or 3 feet of floodwater?
The highway department has a few vehicles with higher ground clearance. The high water vehicle that had been proposed by EMS jointly with the police department was more formally outfitted with high water equipment like a snorkel so that it could transit those waters safely without intaking water. It was also a vehicle that would be capable of carrying the EMS equipment like a stretcher. And we don't have a vehicle like that for those specific needs. There are highway vehicles, like the dump trucks or the salting trucks that have higher ground clearance. They're not specifically outfitted for this purpose, but for the purposes of answering your questions, they have capabilities of transiting higher water, just not specifically for that.
Okay. Maybe it's a question for Ken. I thought we had one, but okay. No problem. Thank you.
Does anyone have any other questions for Joe? Joe, do you have any questions for us?
No?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you for coming in. So Joe was our last department head coming in today. So do we want to continue going through the budget, or do we want to wait until Amber is here so she can answer our questions?
I think it'd probably be best if you were here.
That's, yeah.
Or to just be revisiting this thing, okay? So when do we have just a review? Monday, is that what we're saying?
Friday is the next budget meeting.
No, when is Ken Lewis coming in?
He is coming in Monday at 9 o'clock. We rescheduled for Friday. 9 o'clock.
We have him in for an hour? You think we're gonna get that done in an hour?
Well, you just said that Reed rescheduled?
Yes.
All right, so then we have 2 hours for Ken. If he comes in at 9, we have him from 9 to 11. And Reed's on Friday, the 26th?
Reed is coming in on
This Friday,
Friday,
Friday, and what?
10 to
10?
11.
10 to 11.
Okay.
All right.
Ken is coming in at 9, is that?
9.
9 on Monday, the 29th.
Let me just, sorry, moon a little slow here. Let me just call up my calendar and have a quick look. So you said Monday?
Monday, the 29th, from 9 to 11 is Ken.
Okay,
And then Andrew Chapman for the Water Advisory Committee is coming in from 11 to 12.
12, got it.
And then Friday, this Friday, the 26th,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin's coming in at 9. And then Reed is coming in at 10.
Okay.
Sent everyone the calendar from SharePoint.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amber.
All right, our next budget meeting begins Friday, the 26th at 9 a.m. We will see you then.
Very exciting.